Panthers OTAs are going on. The off-season gatherings. I don't even know if you call them practices, right? They're voluntary. They're a little bit less intense than training camp. They're more of a get-together.
They're air quote voluntary, but yeah.
They're more of a get-together.
Glorified walkthrough.
But because they're together, we do get to hear from them in the media a little bit, which means we're getting more and more info onto the bet being made on Ikem Ekwonu. Right? We've talked about this. The Panthers are taking a chance on Ikem Ekwonu. They are betting that he is better than he was on the field last year. And we've talked about this bet because, well, the Panthers have to make a few, right? They can't fix every part of their roster because that's not possible in a salary-capped sport, right? You can't just go out. Like, if this were baseball, the Yankees sometimes, they're like, we need a first baseman, we need a left fielder, we need a third baseman, we need some pitchers, we need some relief pitchers, and they just go out and spend top dollar on every need that they have. Then they come back the next year like no holes in the roster. Then they find new ones. But you can't do that in the NFL. So occasionally you need to say, no, we're just going to take a bet on somebody. Right, we're just going to bet that they're better than they've shown. We're going to take a bet on their improvement. We're going to gamble that they are somehow unlocked this season. And it was very obvious that the Panthers were betting on Ikem Ekwonu. Because last year, there was not much of their offensive line that you liked. Maybe right tackle. Taylor Moton. Maybe. Everybody else, lots of room for improvement.
Yeah, to say the least.
So they went out and bought a left guard. They went out and bought a right guard. They went out and took one of the guys that was scheduled to play guard and put him at center. Those were the ones they actively fixed. Left tackle, the one that the other one that needed help, well, they're just looking at Ikem Ekwonu and saying, I hope he gets better. So why was that the guy they took the bet on? One, team investment. They did draft him in the top 10, and that's going to get you, I say this all the time, top 10 picks have 9 lives. They're just going to keep. Josh Rosen played for like 10 teams because it's like a cat, right? Just has more lives than you think.
Bradford.
Hey, injuries are. It's harder for me to be as brutal about injuries. Heck, I mean, half of the quarterbacks that have been Panthers over the last few years, the Sam Darnolds, the Baker Mayfields, if either of those guys were drafted in the 4th round, their career is probably over by now. Instead, they both might be day one starters, and one of them's on a $100 million contract. You just get more chances as a top 10 pick. So Icky gets that chance. The other thing is, and we're learning this now, Dave Canales, the head coach and play caller for the Panthers, is betting on Ikem Ekwonu because he thinks, meaning Dave Canales thinks his system is tackle-friendly. Here's Dave Canales on how his offensive system will help Icky.
It's a great system for tackles. We run the ball. We throw play-action passes, which engages as a run first, gives them a little chance to get their hands on a guy and be physical. We run boots. Okay, our keeper game where the line is really just selling a run the opposite way. And then in our pass game, the basis of it is to get the ball out quickly. When we do have to hold it, we'll try to help our tackles as much as possible when we can. Sometimes we can't. We got to call that player into protection at times. But it's a really friendly offense for tackles. We know when it becomes a passing game, the advantage is for the rushers. And that's where we at times, we ask the tackles to hold up here. But then there's also that it's the war of attrition, right? It's like both guys are starting to get a little bit tired, and so it evens the playing field out. But I think Icky's been doing a great job. What does he do best? He is a mauler, and we're going to run the ball. And I think when guys are able to just be aggressive and play to their nature, it gives them a lot of confidence in everything else that they do.
Dave Canales thinks he has a tackle-friendly offense, which, I mean, if we really wanted to parse words, if we really wanted to try to be a drama starter and instigator, we could say, like, they don't think that Icky is better than we do. They just are going to ask him to do less. Give him less opportunities to mess up. He's a bad pass protector. We're going to ask him to pass protect less. That's how we plan on doing it. Like, there's the backhanded compliment kind of type thing there.
But it's just playing to strengths, right?
Exactly. That's the glass half full way to look at it.
You do this thing. Hey, you excel at this thing. Let's do that.
I also think there's an element of, like, get the tackle going with the run game, right? Like, let him physically impose his will over another person, move them off their spot against their will, and then you get that little dominant streak, right? You get that something you can hold over the defensive end's head, and it's the mind games that go on in those situations. Icky also spoke about what he thinks is different than last year, and here's part of what he learned from last year.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, I've been meeting with my coaching staff a little bit more closely. I feel like last year I didn't really take advantage of the resources that I had available to me. I feel like kind of just, I guess, riding the coattails of that rookie season a little bit. I feel like I was at a place where I just wasn't. So, wasn't afraid this year to reach out, ask for some help, go over film with the guys, some of the new guys we have in the building, and I think it's definitely helped me out.
He was really honest. Really honest. Right, humbling experience, he called it another part. Didn't take advantage of the resources I had available. Like, that is very much
rode the coattails of the rookie year.
Hand up on me. Yeah, rode the coattails of my rookie season. Like, I was drinking my own Kool-Aid. I was in my own bag. Whatever your motive, your analogy is for it. Like, I let it get away from me.
Basically, did like the pat on the chest. That's on me, guys. Yep, that's mine.
But yes, he did that, but it's not like you got called for a holding penalty.
Yeah.
It's like I wasted an entire season of my development. That's on me.
It's good, like, have that introspective thought, like having that mindset at that young of an age.
If he corrects it.
I mean, if he does, but at least he recognizes it. Okay, now it's about doing it. But just recognizing it is 9/10 of the problem.
Because, I've always been team, don't say my bad, say won't happen again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like it's, we all know it's your bad, right? I always use the example of like a wide receiver dropping a pass because coming from a quarterback. Like, if I put it on the money and you drop it, I don't need you tapping your chest and looking at me like that's on me. We all know it was on you, right? There's nobody out there going like, woof, that's the offensive coordinator's fault on that one. It's like, no, it was a completion until it went through your hands. What I'd much rather have happen is you lock in and never let it happen again, or as little as possible, right? No one's going to be perfect. Like, that's where I'm at with Ikem Ekwonu. Great. You rode your coattails of your rookie year. You didn't use the resources. You were very humbled. How does that change the way you play, right? It's actions over words. It's talk is cheap. And now you're in like Dave Canales just spelled it out, you're going to have an easier job this year, right? The pass plays are going to be quick hitters and play action as often as they possibly can be. They'll be quick game. They'll be run plays. They'll be playing to your strengths. You're going to have an easier job this year. Less excuses. Last clip for you. Ikem Ekwonu talking about Dave Canales.
Yeah, he's been great. High energy guy, something that we all kind of just respond to, we all kind of love. And yeah, we really just appreciate, what he's been doing for us, building this team and everything like that. And, he's been very clear on the messages that he has for us. And I just feel like we're going in the right direction. So definitely excited to have him, in my corner.
There's that energy talk again. Everybody notices this guy's energy.
It's a real thing.
Do you remember when Dan Campbell first took over the Lions?
Oh, yeah.
And they asked for his Starbucks order? And he was like, well, I get 2 buckets of black coffee, and then I have them dump just all of the espresso in there, and I get extra caffeine shots on top of that, and I wouldn't recommend it for anyone else, but that's what I do. Dave Canales has to have a similar order.
I don't know.
Has to be like, well, mostly just energy and energy and energy.
You watch, he was like, I just drink water. Like, that's all. This is just me. That's all I am.
I drink warm tea, trying to calm down a little bit. And this is me on idle.
A nice organic chai to start the day.
A little chamomile.